came from the president of HCC, and mainly due to the fact that they have multiple locations, and this would allow them to assist the sheriff or the police chief in Hagerstown if needed. They do not supersede either one of those jurisdictions' authority, but they're able to assist. So if anyone has any questions on that one, just speak, or you can review it within the next week and we'll try to vote on it next week.
Quick question.
Yes.
Just out of curiosity, I mean, I'm fully support the bill, obviously, but have we shared it with the sheriff and the police chief just to make sure the language and all that stuff's kosher with all them?
Yes, we had both of those individuals review the language prior to submitting it to drafting.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
They're both on board. Yep. Any other questions on that one? The Board of License Commissioners membership, that was a bill that we had last year, which had included both HCC and the Board of License Commissioners. It's been revised this year just to apply to the Board of License Commissioners, and basically dictates that the two members of the board would belong to the political party that received the highest aggregated number of votes in the preceding election of the Board of County Commissioners. And the other member then would belong to the political party that received the second highest number of votes. Any questions on that one?
Delegate Weigel, just forgive my ignorance on the history of this. Will you be able to share what prompted that change or that proposal?
I think, well, it's other counties have that in place. I think Allegheny has that in place now, so it's kind of following along with some other counties did. And basically, it's just so that board is representative, basically, of the way folks voted in the election, even though these aren't voted positions. I'm sorry, yeah, they're not voted or elected positions. They're appointed. So we just wanted to keep it in line with the way the folks voted.
Well, actually, even in addition to that, Delegate, it's actually how statewide works as well. That the political party of the governor has the majority of the appointments when it comes to said appointments and that kind of stuff. So it's very similar to state law, very similar to many of the county laws and that kind of stuff throughout the all 23 jurisdictions and the 24th with Baltimore City.
Yes, thank you, Senator. You good, Delegate?
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay. So we'll plan on voting on that one next week as well.
Mr. Chair, I think Vaughn has her hand up.
No, I missed that. Go ahead, Vaughn.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify, because when I heard you say the Board of License Commissioners, so you're talking about us, correct?
That's
Liquor
correct.
Board. So
Yeah.
you're saying that the way that the bill is written, that they'll be elected, they'll be put on the ballot now?
No, the appointments would stay the same. It's just that if the majority of the Board of County Commissioners, say, is Republican, then two members of your board would be Republican, and then so it's still, the appointments still remain the same. It's just
Okay.
Yep.
I just wanted to, because when you were saying it, then I thought, okay, now they're doing it kind of like you're doing the Board of Education. Everything else is going to be put on the ballot.
No, I was comparing it to the election results of the election.
Okay.
Are you good?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, I just wanted to know in case ever comes a time when I decide to run as commissioner. That way I know if I have to.
You don't want to stand for election?
Oh, no. No, I don't mind.
Okay. All right. No other questions on that bill?
No.
All right. The third one is agritourism in Washington County. And basically this would add Washington County to a list of 18 other jurisdictions that currently have special provisions for agritourism and promoting agritourism within their jurisdictions. It defines agricultural buildings, provides exemptions from the Maryland Building Performance Standards, And then it also, has, says that basically they need not comply with regulations in regards to bathrooms, sprinkler systems, elevators, and that sort of thing. So it's basically someone who's, it gives farmers an additional benefit, I guess, and an auxiliary use for some of their farm buildings if they so desire. And again, 18 other counties and jurisdictions already have this in place. This would just add Washington County to that list. Any discussion on that one? This one
Yeah,
has not, we have not received a blueback for this one yet.
Yeah, I guess quick question here, Bill, if you don't mind, and I guess part of it'll hopefully be answered once we actually get the blue back. My original understanding is we were just adding them to the list, and then I know when the draft went in, there was some additional verbiage. It wasn't as simple as just adding Washington County to a list of like, a dozen other counties. So I didn't know, and maybe again, it's a better question once we actually have the blue back has been received, as far as, are we just adding Washington County to a list of other people, or are we adding plus putting additional criteria in there as well?
My understanding, we're just adding Washington County to the list.
Okay. All right. We'll see once we get the blue back received then.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll have a better idea then.
Yep.
Yep. Any other questions on that one? Okay, we'll move on to the next request. We had a request that the treasurer be included in the salary study commission's charge, like the other elected positions, county commissioners, board of education, liquor license. And when we put that request in, we found out that apparently the treasurer is already on the list. So the bill drafter sent us back a copy of the code, and number 5 on the list is treasurer for Washington County. So I don't know if that position just wasn't included in the past by, just way of, procedure, but it's already authorized to be in that salary study.
Dr. Weibel, do you have the statute reference for that?
It's section 28-207. We can send that to you if
I appreciate that.
you'd like.
Thank you.
And Michelle, do you know, is that commission slated to be reconvened this year?
My understanding that commission will be slated to be reconvened this year because we have an upcoming election. The last treasurer's position, as you know, was filled by Treasurer Hershey, who had been in that role for quite some time. So the position was evaluated during the last election, is my understanding.
It was or was not?
It's my understanding that the salary was evaluated during the last election. So it would need to be reevaluated for the upcoming election.
Okay, because I thought that the previous treasurer was on the county's salary scale.
That's correct.
He was on the county salary scale, but the position salary was evaluated for the last election to establish that new salary.
Okay, so sounds like you guys are on board with that, and we'll include that in the next.
Yeah, it's already in the legislation, so we're on board with that.
Okay, all right, great. So that one, no legislation is necessary. The tax sale, treasurer tax sale request, that basically, I believe, Matt, correct me if I'm wrong, you do tax sales now, but it's nothing in statute that requires them. So this would just basically codify existing practice.
Well, we are required by law to do the tax sale. That is in the statute. What I'm trying to do is codify the practices of advertising online as we currently do. Just in for whoever my replacement is, just to make sure that notification and that procedure continues, to make sure that every potential property is advertised both online and in the newspaper.
Okay. And does that tie into the advertising bill as well then, or I know you were?
That would depend on how you draft it. As far as the advertising, all I'm really seeking to do there is just come online with the way most other counties do it, for the twice newspaper advertising as opposed to the 4 times.
So we don't
could
have bluebacks back for either one of those. So
Oh,
once we get those, we'll circulate them. to the members.
Question for the treasurer real quick.
So,
Yep.
Sorry, Michelle, go ahead.
I was just going to say, the position of the board is that they don't want to reduce the amount of advertising that we currently do for properties that are going to tax sale. As you know, a person's home is quite likely the largest investment they'll make in their entire life. And we currently have a lawsuit pending in the city of Baltimore and the county of Baltimore regarding tax sale procedures, advertising, and due process related to individuals whose properties are sold at tax sale, because it unfairly targets, according to this lawsuit, it unfairly targets low income or disadvantaged property owners. So at this time, the board doesn't support that particular legislation. I just wanted to make sure that you're aware of that.
Question for the treasurer real quick. Matt, you just mentioned there a second ago that you're trying to bring in a line, I think your words were, as a variety of other counties throughout the state. Do you have that list of what other counties do the same 2 and 2, or could you, if you don't have it with you now, could you provide that, maybe an email delegation?
I have that in the spreadsheet.
Okay. All right, my apologies. I didn't have it in front of me.
Yeah, I'll send it to you again. I did on November 20th, but we'll be that at
Okay. Yeah, it'd be helpful if it's current practice already, and I guess my question, if it's current practice already, then to Michelle's point, if there's also a lawsuit, I'm just trying to figure out where.
Well, Baltimore County or Baltimore City is a little bit different. They don't
Right.
put it in the newspaper at all. They do everything electronically.
Uh-huh.
So I've looked at all 24 jurisdictions, and the interesting point here is, and I've done a study on the return of the investment after the newspaper first advertisement, second advertisement, third advertisement. And it doesn't seem like it happens. Now, while it's true, that money is recouped for the advertising in the tax sale, through the tax sale, or when the property is redeemed. That is true. My issue is that we're adding $150 to the cost right now that the homeowner has to pay. And what I'm finding, and Delegate Weibel kind of made it clear to me, that this bill has been coming up for other counties for years, and it seems like the objection seems to be the newspaper lobby more than anyone else. And my interest is more taking care of our owners, not having to pay so much than I am the newspaper lobbyist.
So the lawsuit, I was gonna say, the lawsuit alleges that online tax sales are difficult for people to understand, and they unfairly target those low income populations because they don't always have access to internet capabilities or phone capabilities or the ability to understand those online tax sale processes. So it's actually been brought forward through MACo because it could completely upend the tax sale process across the entire state. At this point, the board doesn't recommend making any changes because we are not party to that state, because we do advertise through newspapers, we do advertise through social media, we do advertise through our website. We do have other safeguards in place that those counties don't have. So the concern from MACo is also very real, that it's going to change the tax sale process if this legislation, this federal lawsuit actually goes through.
Mr. Breeding, can you answer, is Washington County do online, or are we still doing in person from the courthouse?
In person, and to be quite honest with you, I get an email once a week from some vendor wishing us to go online, and I have no interest whatsoever to do that. The first, in 2022, the tax sale rate was 71%. In 2023, it was 84.9%. Last year, 94.9%. We've increased that, and I do believe it's by doing it in person. I really believe that has been, 2022 is still suffering the effects of COVID, I believe, but we've kind of recovered for that. I have no intention whatsoever to change the process. I like the process. It's just the notification that it just doesn't seem like there's any return on the investment. And I've studied this, like I said, many times, and we go further and beyond on the reminder of email notice or mail notices. I'll be mailing out over 3,000 notices today, first time reminder. In February, I do it again. In April, I do it again. In April, it's the final legal notice, and then they get a certified letter in May when it goes in the newspaper. The law currently requires one reminder notice and one final legal notice. So we kind of are already spending an inordinate amount of time and effort doing more than anyone else that I can find in the state, and I'm comfortable with that. That's where we get and when these notices go out today, I expect a rush coming in next week. People coming in, they don't like that, but that's where the return on the investment is.
Well, I appreciate clarification of the process. Well, again, the bill, we've asked for it to be drafted. Once we have a draft, we'll have something better to look at, and we can make a decision there at that time whether we wish to move forward or make changes to it. So thank you all for that discussion. The next 4 bills on the list all deal with alcohol. The first 2 would be new licenses. It would be a license for a bed and breakfast and a salon license. They're limited licenses that I believe, Vaughn, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was just beer and wine.
The bed and breakfast, I think I'm not sure. Karen's going to look it up so that way. Because I don't know if I have them here. I'm not sure if it is just beer. The salon is beer and wine. The bed and breakfast is beer, wine, and liquor.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we don't have a draft on those. We'll again review them when we get them back. And then the other 2 basically would take the existing 6-day and Sunday licenses and consolidate them into a 7-day license. So
correct.
That's all they do. The fee would be combined. So if they're paying $750 and $250 now, they would end up paying $1,000 for the single license. So I don't believe they propose to raise the fees, and I believe that you all followed up with an email just to keep them the same. So
correct.
I've talked with a couple of members of the that own liquor stores, and they were fine with going to the 7-day license. So if you all are out and about and you find out otherwise, certainly we need to know if someone's opposed to that.
Couple questions here.
Yes, Senator.
And I know, again, we're waiting on some drafts to get back. So following up on our conversation, I guess we had the pre-delegation forum. There was an inquiry. I know that the board presented their financials, and there was I believe, Chair, you had asked as far as for a balance sheet, as far as where the board's revenues currently sat. Did we ever receive that? I had not seen anything yet as far as what.
I have not seen the financials that included the balance sheet.
Okay.
Vaughn, do you know, has that been
If
sent?
that's something you guys still want, then we can send it over to you. I mean, I know the board had talked and then they agreed upon not changing the fees to what they wanted them to be and just keep them what they were. So they never stated to me whether to send it. So I never sent anything. So if this is something that you want, then we can go ahead and send it over to you.
Yeah, if you could send it over, I think it'd be helpful in our deliberations.
Yeah, I think that would be helpful. So thank you, Mr. Chair. Then additionally, the 7-day one you were talking about. So just for clarification, if someone has a 6-day and then they want to get the 7-day, there's the 2 licenses. But if someone only wants to still only have a 6-day, they're not open on Sundays, would they only be able to buy the 7-day now?
Correct.
It
So
would
would
be
that be
just
an
one
option?
license. It would be just
license.
one license.
So if someone
Yeah.
is currently closed on Sunday, okay. All right, appreciate that
Yeah,
clarification.
the thing is we have licensees who are closed,
Mhm.
and I can guarantee it's sometime through the year they usually send us a message and say, hey, we want to be open because it's a holiday or whatever it is. And
Right.
we're like, no, you can't, because normally if you do that, then you have to come before the board. But so this is kind of like to restructure it to make it kind of simplified rather than having different licenses, just to have one license across the board, and it's Monday through Sunday.
Mhm.
The hours are all the same, so that way they don't have to go back and forth and say, what are our Sunday hours? You know, because everybody's is different based on whether you're a retail establishment, which is a liquor store. The hours are from 11 to 12, and because it was changed in the legislation. But then also, if you're a restaurant or a club or whatever, and you serve food, you can open up at 11 o'clock rather than 12, because of the fact that you're serving food, but you have to be serving food in order to open up at 11. So this way, it's just going to be clear across the board. Your hours are going to still be the same as, not on Sundays. It's going to be the same as what they were from Monday through Saturday. It's going to be 6 o'clock in the morning and to 2 o'clock in the evening and to 2 o'clock the next morning. And then we won't have any deliberations on, you know, it'll be structured the whole way across the board.
And then is it just, because there's a whole bunch of different licenses you guys offer right now. So does it consolidate all those licenses just into one now? I mean, is there
Well, it
still...
doesn't consolidate them, because if it would, then we would have to take liquor stores and consolidate them to be, because your liquor stores are off sale. Then you have your on and off sales. You know what I mean? So the only thing it's doing is actually making it 7-day across the board instead of your 6-day and then your special Sunday. So it's making it 7-day and just adding the special Sunday on with the 6-day. And then it's just taking your hours of your 6-day and consolidating them into the 7-day. And that's the only thing that it's doing, is it's just making it more structured that way. But you still have your Class A's, which are your liquor stores, your Class B's that are on and off sale, such as, I'll give you an idea, which are Breakaways to Colonial, because they serve food. And then your Class D's, which are on, some of them are on and off sale, which are like the Wolf's Den, which she does serve food, but she's an on and off sale. So she doesn't have to serve food, but she does. So this is just, and your clubs and your restaurants. So yeah.
All right, well, I think, Vaughn, I appreciate the information for the purpose of the conversation, because I don't want to, I'll follow up with you offline for some additional clarification.
Okay.
Try some more things.
Yeah,
The last thing I did have, though, in regards to those, and again, I know we have to get the legislation back. The salon one, when I saw the draft, kind of stuck out to me. It has the language in there, typically is all and everything, that they would have to buy from a distributor. A salon, typically, to my understanding, they only offer like one beer to a customer or a drink of wine. How is that going to work? Because I don't know what distributor is going to go to deliver one case of beer to a salon. That's going to be a challenge for the salon, I believe.
Yeah. So, like I stated to you guys in the legislative meeting, any salon right now that, and unless they're on the comptroller's scope, they're not going to pay attention to the salons, not unless somebody would actually put it out there that a salon is selling alcohol. And when I'm saying alcohol, when I'm saying selling alcohol, it means if they're including it in anything, and even though they say that it's not included, if they're doing a cutting and they're offering a glass of wine or a glass of beer, whatever it is that they're offering, that's included in the fee. It might not state that, but it is. So the comptroller is going to look at it that, because that's the way they look at it. And that's a felony, because you're bootlegging. So this is where we're trying to get not control of it, but make it structured for the beauty salons so that they're not in violation of doing anything that they're not supposed to be doing, in case it would ever get on the radar and the comptroller would check them out. So the thing is for me is, and I'm not sure who's all in this meeting, but I've never been for the 3-tier system. So I don't mind the 3-tier system when it comes to the comptroller. But as you know, during COVID, we put in the bill for the licensees, the small licensees, who are like restaurants or that don't that don't purchase as much as the larger chain stores or retail establishments do. So we put in legislation because of COVID, and they didn't deliver to these licensees. So we had a good many licensees that had to close down because they couldn't get deliveries. So, and then when the comptroller found out about it, they kind of shot it down. You guys were all for it. And the only thing is it's a win-win if you look at it. If you look at it technically the legal way, we were doing it the legal way. We wanted to create a bill that would allow the small licensees. I'm just going to give you an example like Gordon's. The small licensee who doesn't sell a lot of alcohol, that can't get deliveries because now you have the distributors who want to pick and choose who they want to deliver to. And that's how I look at it. They're picking and choosing who they want to deliver to based on the amount of product that they're buying. But if the licensee, say a small licensee, would come to us and we could get this through legislation, if they could come to us and say, we can't get our deliveries, we want to obtain a license that we can purchase our alcohol from a licensed retail licensee in Washington County, we would give them a license that they would be able to purchase their alcohol. Just say American Pie. American Pie is on Virginia Avenue. They come into us and say, we can't get our alcohol from the distributors. Can we get a license from you that we can go buy our alcohol from Old Orchard or some liquor store within that vicinity? We would give them the license. They could go to the store and get what they want and then take it back. They would keep their invoices, still keep their receipts, their invoices from distributors, their invoices from receipts. So in case I would ever go in or the comptroller would go in, he would see the license, and it would be a win-win because they're buying the alcohol from a retail establishment and the retail establishment is still purchasing their alcohol from a distributor. So I don't know why the comptroller would want to shoot it down. It didn't make no sense to me. It's just where we want to do something for the licensee. We want to make sure that they can survive. And if they can't get their alcohol because they're being picked and chosen upon, it's unfair. It's technically, to me, it's discrimination. I don't know how you want to look at it, but to me, it's discrimination. They're being picked and chosen upon who purchased the most product. So, and I'm sorry for rambling.
No, I appreciate that. And I'm sure, I think, again, Chair, once we actually have a legislation back, it'll be better to look at it. Just that one piece stuck out to me. And I totally understand what you're saying, Vaughn. But the way the bill is written, depending on when it comes back, is you're setting that system up that the salon won't be able to offer that service because they won't be able to. We tried to do what you suggested, and that's not going to, that's fundamentally changing. Delegate Weibel knows that best, being on ECM, changing the 3-tier system, and that's just not going to happen.
But so, I mean, even if
we'll wait till we get the drafts back and go from there.
Yeah, even if you would look at it the way that I presented it, wouldn't it still make sense to you that maybe you guys could get together and present it to them that way, that they're not actually eliminating the 3-tier system and the distributors are still, it's still a win-win, even though they have the small mom and pop places or the small restaurants or whatever that can't. So
I think it would be a tough sell, but we'll see when the legislation comes back.
Okay.
All right, any other discussions on alcohol? Seeing none, the last piece of legislation we have on the list is the county tax credit. So the commissioners had asked us to make changes to the current manner in which they issue property tax credits for economic development. Basically, the legislation would add renovation of existing businesses to the language where currently it's only applies to new premises that are constructed. And that's probably the major change, but then there's also changes being made to the number of individuals that need to be employed, as well as the amount of the funds that need to be invested in capital improvements to qualify. So we don't have that back yet either. So as soon as we get that, we'll circulate it amongst the members so you can review that. That is all we have on our list. I don't know if we missed anything. Mr. Fry?
It didn't miss any legislation, so if you're ready to take just general comments, I'm happy to speak now or wait my turn.
Okay, we do have a section for public comment. Let me make sure no one has any other comments in regards to legislation. Anyone? Okay. And then finally on our agenda, we do have public comment. So Mr. Fry.
Thank you, Chair. Number one, congratulations to Delegate Schindler. We look forward to working with you, and if we can be of assistance, let us know. We're happy to do that. I do want to just remind everybody our Coalition Day in Annapolis is on the 22nd. We'll be coming out next Tuesday, that we have done in years past, to distribute our boxes to all of the offices in the House and the Senate, and also the invitations. I do want to thank Senator Quarterman, Delegate Wyville Valentine, and Delegate Baker for your support for getting these boxes stored and delivered. We appreciate that, and we'll work with your team. This year's gift, as you might know, is the headrest. And so you can either wear it like this, or you want to make sure your chin doesn't fall down like this. And for that, the General Assembly members have to attend our reception. And I'm not sure who the display models will be this year, but every year I know on the Senate floor and the House floor, we have a volunteer. Senator McKay looks like he's ringing in to display
We
them
know
and
that
invite
Senator
people.
McKay is not allowed, so.
Oh, okay. Well, that only leaves one other senator. So let's see how that goes. We have to flip a coin. And we appreciate your support. And we'll be in next week to talk with you. And then we're looking forward to a good reception day and large group meeting. And additional information will be coming out. If you're interested in lunch on that Wednesday at 22nd Galway Bay, just let us know, let Donna know, so we make sure we get you on that list.
If I may, Paul, the Senate president last year said that was a wonderful display, never, ever to be done again.
Well, I'll let you decide how to promote this, but we have some good information. Plus, we have a little gift, a replica of our new ballpark that Dan Spence put together. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but we have it here. Let me see, I'm blurry. So anyway, we have a little display to hand out to thank everybody for their support. We're looking forward to it. Let us know if you have any questions or concerns. We'll look forward to working with you. That's it. Thanks, Delegate.
Thank you, Paul. Always a great day in Annapolis with Washington County on full display. We appreciate everyone's efforts and
Hey, just a quick follow-up on that, Chair Weil, if you don't mind. The room we talked about in the past, just want to clarify, because I know that Kurt, I think, reached out to us, and Paul, maybe you were on that as well. We had reserved the room in the Senate building for the group meetings and stuff like that. I know this conversation, you guys were looking into a house room. I think they need to move forward as far as, are we still okay with that Senate room, or did you guys find another room, or just want to make sure that everyone's on the same page?
Jim Kirchhoff's right here, as a matter of fact. Senator Quarterman is asking about where we're meeting for large group meetings.
No, I wasn't asking Jim. I'm asking Delegate Wyville.
I'm not sure, Senator. We'll follow through and find out.
I think we just stick with, we have that room reserved. At this point, they need to move forward. So I don't see what the big deal is. I think you guys just move forward with that Senate room, and that's just what it is.
Yeah. John Favazza is starting to arrange the speakers, so he needs to let them know which room to show up at. At the time, Mary had reserved the Senate, and Krista was looking at some options at the House, but things were kind of on hold with the House.
I don't know if there's been any update on that end or not. That's what I was asking. So
yeah, we'll nail that down.
Okay, so let's move forward.
Okay, thanks everybody.
Okay, and hey, Paul, is it the East Room or the West Room in the Senate? John asked me that question too. Do you know?
I'll have Mary follow up with you on that information.
Okay,
The reservation from the president's office. Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, James. Anyone else have anything to add under public comment? Not seeing anyone. Seems pretty quiet this morning, so if not, that concludes the meeting, and so the meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you.